There's one thing that is for certain, and that's the SBA has to prepare for an onslaught of applications for the EIDL grants. The current portal still shows a status of them not accepting applications at this time. Please stay tuned after the bumper for more information.
Get the money. Get the money.
Right now, there's lots of chatter coming from experts talking about the EIDL grant. There's lots of speculation based on the interpretation of the language in the stimulus plan. However, here are several things that are very clear. If you have less than 300 employees, experience a loss of 30% or more over an 8-week period, and operate a business in a low-income area, you are eligible for a $10,000 EIDL grant. The program has $20 billion that will go quickly. Regardless of what anyone says, the funds will be dispersed based on the completeness and the quality of the documentation requested and submitted to the SBA. Let's assume that all of the aforementioned qualifications are met, and the only one that has to be confirmed is whether or not you're in a low-income area. Here are general maps of what are considered to be low-income areas. Note that even though it's not stated anywhere in the stimulus bill, the SBA will still check your credit based on the application that's submitted. While there are no hard, fast, written rules that the majority of people have seen, the general knowledge is that a 570 or more is needed on the credit score. But if you are an entity that's in need, I would go through the process, submit my application, and work with the SBA in order to get my application approved if I was one of the entities that were in need of the funds. I would not let a subjective, potentially credit score be the reason why I didn't apply and not even be considered for the grant. Hopefully, guidance will be made available soon from the SBA for those who have already previously received grants from the EIDL program, but it wasn't $10,000, to let the applicants know whether or not the difference between what they received and $10,000, if those amounts will be deposited into their accounts. And hopefully they can provide clarity for those businesses that are not in low-income areas. Specifically, they can confirm whether or not they will still award grants based on the number of employees, despite many believing the new bill providing clarity on how the grant funds should be dispersed. We know based on last time, the SBA used their own interpretation as to how the money should be distributed. And there's no reason why we shouldn't think this couldn't be the case in this particular scenario as well. Now, when it comes to completing the application, my recommendation is that you should talk to your accountant or financial advisor. But here's a sample copy of the application that's used to complete the EIDL grant. The forms are pretty straightforward. Basically, you're entering standard information that you would enter for you and your business, like the name of your business, the address of your business, and other demographical information for your business. We know that this is still the old form. It still shows the limit to be 500 employees, but under the new plan, this is lowered to 300 employees. Note the sample fields that I've selected on each of these forms. Make sure that all of the standard requirements are selected. If this is not done, your entity will not be eligible for the EIDL grant. Continue to follow the prompts. In places where they're asking for an EIN number, if you don't have one, just put in your social security number. Continue to go through the fields. If there's some that you're not familiar with, please check with your accountant. Like some people have questions regarding cost of goods sold. For some businesses, these are strictly expenses based on inventory that you have to carry. Make sure as you scroll through these sheets that you check to make sure that all of the information is correct, especially when you get to your banking information. You want to make sure that your bank name is correct, the bank routing number is correct, and the bank account number is correct, because this is where your funds will be transferred. Also, make sure you check the box to ensure that you agree that all of the information that you supply is correct to the best of your knowledge. Once you click next, now you're going to get a summary of all of the answers that you've entered. Here's your last chance to review this information before you submit your application. Once you submit your application, you're going to get a confirmation number. It's going to be emailed to you and it's going to be on your screen. Please keep this information for your records. Note that as long as the form does not change, this is general information that you can expect to complete once the new portal is open. Start gathering this information. You may have to check with your accountant to make sure that it's all available and it's all correct. Once your application is submitted, now you play the waiting game and you're all done for everything that you could do at this particular time. If you like information like this, please hit that like button, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell so that you can get future videos like this. As always, thanks for watching and get the money.